The hours leading up to the FIFA World Cup 2026 clash between the United States and Paraguay were filled with unprecedented anticipation across American and global soccer circles. This was not just another opening group stage match. It was a historic occasion that American fans had been waiting for more than 3 decades. For the first time since the 1994 FIFA World Cup, the United States was set to play a World Cup match on home soil in front of its own supporters. This time, the stage was the magnificent SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, one of the most advanced and impressive sporting venues in the world. Fans began arriving at the stadium hours before. The United States entered the tournament carrying enormous expectations after years of investment and development. U.S. soccer had invested heavily over the past decade. Major League Soccer had continued to grow, and a large number of American players were now competing for some of Europe's biggest clubs. As a result, many observers viewed the 2026 World Cup as the golden opportunity for the United States to achieve its greatest modern accomplishment, especially with the advantage of playing at home and receiving massive support from both fans and the media. Head coach Mauricio Pochettino fully understood the responsibility on his shoulders and spent the days leading up to the match focusing heavily on the mental aspect of preparation. He repeatedly encouraged his players to stay calm, enjoy the moment, and avoid allowing pressure to affect their performance. On the other side, Paraguay arrived at the World Cup after a lengthy absence that had lasted 16 years. Paraguayan supporters endured many difficult years watching their national team miss soccer's biggest stage. But everything changed with the arrival of head coach Gustavo Alfaro. He successfully restored belief and identity to the squad and guided Paraguay through one of the most impressive qualifying campaigns in South America. The team recorded remarkable results against powerhouse nations such as Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay, proving that they were one of the toughest defensive teams in the region. For that reason, Pochettino repeatedly warned his players not to underestimate their opponents, emphasizing that Paraguay was fully capable of surprising anyone in the tournament. In the days before the match, global media outlets focused heavily on the expected starting lineups. For the United States, much of the discussion centered on the goalkeeper position, where Matt Freese and Matt Turner were competing for a starting role. Defensively, analysts predicted that Chris Richards and Tim Ream would form the center-back partnership, while Serginho Dest and Anthony Robinson would provide attacking support from the fullback positions. In midfield, Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie were expected to serve as the team's engine room, while Christian Pulisic, Timothy Weah, and Folarin Balogun were projected to lead the attack. Paraguay entered the match with some concerns regarding the fitness of young star Julio Enciso, who had suffered a thigh bruise during a pre-tournament friendly. Despite the uncertainty, coach Gustavo Alfaro remained optimistic about the possibility of his participation. Alongside Enciso, much attention was directed toward captain Gustavo Gomez, the defensive leader of the team, and Miguel Almiron, whose speed and creativity made him a constant threat on the counterattack. Analysts and experts were divided regarding the favorite to win the match. Some believed that the United States held a clear advantage due to home field support and the overall quality of its roster. Others argued that Paraguay's defensive organization and tactical discipline could frustrate any opponent. Most predictions suggested a very close contest that might ultimately be decided by a single goal, especially considering the importance of a strong start in a group that also included Australia and Turkey. Every point and every goal could potentially influence qualification to the knockout rounds. As kickoff approached, the atmosphere inside SoFi Stadium became increasingly electric. More than 70,000 spectators filled the stands, while television cameras broadcast the event to millions of viewers worldwide. Everyone understood that this match carried tremendous symbolic importance for American soccer, and that a positive result could provide a significant emotional boost for the remainder of the tournament. Inside the locker room, Mauricio Pochettino focused on instilling confidence in his players. The Argentine coach spoke extensively about the importance of enjoying the game and ignoring external pressure. He emphasized that success at a World Cup begins with controlling emotions before controlling possession. The players appeared energized and confident, particularly Christian Pulisic, who described the match as one of the most important moments of his international career. Across the hallway, Gustavo Alfaro delivered a different message to his Paraguayan squad. The experienced coach stressed the importance of patience, discipline, and refusing to get carried away by the overwhelming American crowd. He reminded his players that Paraguay had not qualified for the World Cup merely to make up the numbers. Instead, they had arrived to compete, fight for qualification, and proudly represent Paraguayan soccer on the world stage.
From a tactical perspective, expectations suggested that the United States would attempt to dominate possession from the opening whistle. The speed of players such as Pulisic, Dest, and Weah was expected to play a major role in creating offensive opportunities. Paraguay, meanwhile, was likely to rely on defensive compactness and rapid counterattacks. Throughout qualifying, the Paraguayan team had become known for its ability to close down space and force opponents into mistakes, making it one of the strongest defensive units in South America.
One of the key talking points before the match involved set pieces. Under Gustavo Alfaro, Paraguay had transformed dead ball situations into one of its most dangerous weapons during qualification. As a result, the American coaching staff spent considerable time preparing their players to defend against those threats. At the same time, the United States possessed several players capable of creating danger from corners and crosses, meaning aerial battles were expected to play a significant role in determining the outcome. There was also another storyline that added extra intrigue to the encounter: the limited but interesting history between the two national teams. Although official meetings had been relatively rare, the most recent friendly between the sides ended in a 2-1 victory for the United States. That result provided American supporters with additional optimism heading into this highly anticipated World Cup showdown. American fans viewed this match as the beginning of a much larger dream. It was the dream of reaching the latter stages of the World Cup and perhaps surpassing the achievements of previous generations. Paraguayan supporters, meanwhile, saw the match as an opportunity to prove that their national team had truly returned to the global stage after years of absence. For both sets of fans, the significance of the occasion could hardly have been greater. As the players stepped onto the field, the noise inside the stadium reached extraordinary levels. The United States national anthem was greeted with a thunderous response from the crowd, while Paraguayan supporters answered with passionate chants of their own. The scene felt more like the opening ceremony of the tournament itself, rather than a single group stage match. The lights, fireworks, flags, and energy combined to create a spectacular soccer atmosphere, worthy of the world's biggest sporting event. Experts who had followed the United States throughout the months leading up to the tournament noted significant improvements, both physically and mentally. Victories against strong opponents and competitive performances against elite teams had given the players confidence that they could compete with the best nations in the world. Pochettino himself frequently spoke about the evolution of the team's mentality and the growing ambition within the squad.
Paraguay built its confidence through a series of impressive performances during qualification. Victories over Argentina and Brazil were not viewed as isolated results, but as evidence that the team possessed a strong competitive identity. Their outstanding defensive record further reinforced the belief that they could challenge any opponent, regardless of reputation or ranking.
All of these factors combined to make the United States versus Paraguay clash one of the most anticipated matches of the opening round. It was far more than just an opening game in Group D. It represented a confrontation between the ambitions of the host nation and the determination of a returning World Cup participant, eager to prove itself. It was a contest between the immense expectations surrounding the United States and the calm confidence of Paraguay. As millions around the world waited for kickoff, one thing was universally agreed upon. This match possessed every ingredient necessary to become one of the defining stories of the 2026 FIFA World Cup.